Welcome, beautiful people. Welcome to my webinar. I'm so excited to see a lot of familiar faces here, and I'm so excited to share with you really the fruit of my labor of 30 years. My webinar is called Embrace Your Worth and Create a New Narrative. And I'm Patricia Kennedy, if you don't know me, and my friends call me PK, and I invite you to call me PK as well. So before we start, please make sure that you have a pad of paper so that you can capture any insights or notes of interest as we go through the webinar. So if you don't know me, and I know many of you do, but if you don't know me, then I want to tell you that I've been on a path of healing and transformation and growth for most of my adult life. And it's been an amazing journey. And I am inspired and passionate about helping people expand who they are, become more of who they are. I see each person as a brilliant light and a beautiful divine being. And I don't think most of us realize that. So I am passionate about helping people realize that. So just to start, we are not these physical bodies. Maybe you don't know that, but this is not us. We are actually spirits traveling in these physical bodies. And we can use our bodies as a vehicle to bring the spirit more alive within us and then out into the world in our lives and relationships. And then our life gets better. Okay, so I love myself. And that's been the best part of my journey, is that I've discovered self-love. And I know that everybody can also discover self-love, and that's what my role is to uplift you and remind you of that. And I've also been fortunate to come across a Chinese wisdom tradition more than 30 years ago. And it is a rare system. The world doesn't know about it. And I want to share the bounty of what I received with people everywhere. And that is part of my other role, is to share these tools and information so that you can benefit in your life. Okay, so what is the narrative? Because this is Embrace Your Worth and Create a New Narrative. The narrative is a story that you've told yourself. It's a story that you continue to tell yourself, and that is what can change. Our narrative can change. And when we change our narrative, we expand ourselves and we create, we expand our self-worth. So the current state of humanity, we have been taught and conditioned away from our body awareness. So our body actually has wisdom. And we have been taught not to listen to those messages and to actually, so that the body, as it communicates to you, if you can't listen to the messages, then you can't receive the wisdom of it. Four things I want to give you today is every single thing in your life has value. Everything has value. Every relationship, every experience, every memory. The value comes, though, when you get perspective. So if you have an experience and you can't see anything but that experience, and you have an old narrative around it, then you're locked into that, a limited view of that. Second, you have the power inside of you right now to rewrite and expand the meaning of your story. Third, your body truly is a transformational vehicle. And fourth, your story lives in your body. And I'm going to share some ways that that is so in our hour together today. Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question, and I want you to think about this. What is the relationship or life challenge that speaks the loudest to you right now? What's causing you the most trouble? What is capturing your attention and your energy? Maybe it makes you feel bad when you think about it. I want you to really think about that. Now, close your eyes for a minute and really consider this. And usually it's the first thing that jumps out at you. Okay, so when you're ready, open your eyes and maybe write it down, because we're going to kind of be engaging with that the remainder of our time together. Okay, so that relationship has the most value for you. The one that causes you the most trouble has the most value for you. Why? Because it's trapping your energy and attention. So if it's trapping your energy attention, then it's keeping kind of that creative energy locked up. A tendency to be apprehensive and anxious. Yeah, it's not necessarily a relationship. It can be a way of thinking and engaging with ourselves that jumps out. So thank you, Debbie. What I call this is your core relationship dynamic, CRD. We'll refer to it as CRD for the rest of our time together. It traps our attention. Oftentimes, if it's a relationship, it can keep us locked in a victim stance. And the beauty of this is that it can grow or change the entire time. So sometimes it may not have been apparent to you when you first thought about it. Sometimes it takes a little mining to discover it and draw it out. But anybody else want to share what their CRD that came to them was? Put it in the chat. I'd like to see. Anyone else? So I would love to come on camera if you're comfortable. I saw that. Continuing doubt about the worth of your music. Yes, Ruth, we know that this has been a journey for you for a long time, and we know how brilliant you are. So it's really good to be aware of that, though. It's very important to hone in on the thing that's keeping us from moving forward in a powerful way in our lives. Self-worth, yeah. A tendency to lack confidence, pretty common. So the more we connect with ourselves, the more our confidence and our self-love grows. And that it's an indirect remedy for that, Frederick. Thank you. So there is zero benefit to going to our past and relitigating it and saying, let's dredge it up and dive into it. Because what it does, it keeps us trapped there. The only reason we want to go to our past is to bring it into our present reality and work it and find the beauty and transform it there. Present moment's everything, everything. And this is really beautiful work for us. It's, we're on a life journey. And everything in life is beautiful and has value. And it's just like a matter of being on a treasure hunt to discover that. Now, if you're a victim, then you are creating a prison for yourself and you are the jailer. So we want to move and transform that victim stance. Marin says insecurity in relationships which come out in painful ways. That's pretty common. And really, Marin, that's really the source of that is lack of self-love. So you expand that self-love, the insecurity magically disappears. I'm someone who suffered from insecurity for a really long time, so I can totally relate to that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about my own CRD, which was and is the relationship with my amazing and spectacular and wonderful father. Now, my father was an alcoholic, and this did impact me. It gave me a negative self-view and shaped the way I engaged with life. So when I was 30 years old, I'm just going to paint you a little picture. 30 years old, I was 4 years into therapy already. I was married to the idea of being a victim. I really relished it. I wore it with pride in a way. And it impacted my relationship. This relationship with my father impacted my relationship with other people. Of course it did. He was my parent. And I was really heavy. I liked to party, and I had a drinking problem that I had begun to transform. But what was my beautiful work here? There's my dad. This is slightly before he passed. He was just a beautiful human being. So how did I go from being a victim of my father to seeing him as a hero? And it certainly didn't start off that way. And that's the picture of my dad and mom on their wedding day. Such a handsome man, and my mom was quite beautiful as well. So 4 years into therapy, I got in touch with my anger, and I began to address my drinking problem. But the guidance I received led me to break my relationship with my father. I was self-righteous, and I felt justified in my self-righteousness. And I didn't speak with him for 3 years, and he didn't come to my wedding. So that was very painful. But having the healing that came was really a result of discovering an expanded view of my father. There's always there's always a different way you can look at every human being. If we start off looking at, look what they did to me, you'll never see that. So you can see every single human being in much grander terms. That's what I find really extraordinary. And I love being surprised and delighted by people whom I'd originally put in a box. So I had my father in a box. It was a small box too, but he was so beautiful and great. And I was not able to see that until I started to kind of redefine my relationship with him. So what I did was I recognized his accomplishments and understood more his complex and rich journey. He was a hero. He was brilliant, intelligent. He was an artist, all these things. And I understood his pain. I understood why he was the way he was. And then from that place, here's the miracle. Understanding him, I was able to make connections to my own present life and relationships and who I was and why I operated the way I did. And then I could start to change it. But until I saw him, now isn't that crazy? Until I saw my father in greater terms, I couldn't see myself in greater terms. I was locked into that relationship. So here's the beauty. That process continues to this day. My father transitioned 13 years ago. To this day, I continue to discover new and beautiful ways and beautiful things about him. And my heart continues to grow in love and appreciation. So I'm using that story because I believe every person has these kind of relationships where we're defined by them, or we feel victimized by them or wounded by them. You don't have to stay there. You really don't have to stay there. And this work can be done with any relationship. The person does not have to be present. My father did not participate in this. This was my journey. And I had to make a decision that I was going to heal this. And we can continually mine our story for hidden gems. Our story could be the relationships. It could be things that happened to us, maybe traumas. I know some people on here, and Catherine's going to speak later about a trauma she suffered that impacted her, that continues to show up today. But it is a lifetime journey. Healing and transformation never stops. And I think that's kind of exciting, actually. If it stopped, it would be pretty damn boring, in my opinion. So. And it could be fun. You can make your life journey fun. It doesn't have to be this heavy thing, I'm telling you. As you expand your heart, life, the complexion of life and how you live, it's just delightful. So it's hard to relate all the benefits I received from transforming my relationship with my father, but I'm going to go through some of them. So transformation of that heavy, dark, emotional baggage, which I lived with. It was like a cloak I carried with me. Inner space and freedom, expanded sense of self. So myself, the capital S self, there's a little s self and a capital S self. That's your spirit self. That grew. Personal power and agency. And I had more freedom to move as I wanted, to follow my own path in life. So if you're identifying with a relationship from the past, it can get you locked into your own life track. And then it doesn't allow you to deviate and explore and create new pathways. So how did this process unfold? Well, I will tell you that I was fortunate to receive a Chinese feminine medicine wisdom system. It was an elite martial art practiced in China, in Qinchang village in the Shandong province in northern China. And it was this system that allowed me to have my own transformation, and what I draw on for my continued transformation, and what I guide my clients I give them tools and information from this system so they can continue to transform in new and expanded ways. So I began studying this system more than 30 years ago, and it was passed down to us by Chinese female masters. So let me just paint a picture of the culture in early 1900s China. If you were either in the farmer class and then you worked but you had no rights, or you were an elite and then you had bound feet, but women had no rights during this time in China's history. Now, what's extraordinary about these two women, it was a wife and daughter of the master of this system. They were revered masters themselves, and they were leaders with the highest martial fighting skill and they were community leaders. They were innovators. My mentors, master, Gombajai, learned at their feet, starting at the age of 6. And my mentor brought the system to China, from China to the shores of America vis-a-vis San Francisco. And I was the first participant in the recovery of the system. So I became part of a think tank, and over 30 years, we recovered and updated this illustrious system. I did all the hard work over 30 years to extract the tools to learn the system, and so you don't have to. And now I am offering this so that you can have tools and information in your hands that are really practical, valuable tools to transform. And I'm ready to share. I'm really ready to share. It's been a long time coming. I'm super excited. So today and every day, I'm going to invite you. This is my real message, cloaked in the Chinese system. But my real message to you is to fall in love with yourself, fall in love with your story, fall in love with your life journey. If I can give you one thing today, is that inspiration that you are magnificent and that life can be fun, that you don't have to make it heavy and hard. And if your story is heavy and hard, sometimes it can eclipse the light. It can eclipse our brilliance. So you want to take that story and take it as an opportunity to work it, like massage it, and mine for the treasures. So I'm having trouble remembering to forward the slides, so here we go. I have worked in the healing profession for over 25 years, and the best thing that I received were these gifts of stories from people. Thousands of people shared their stories with me. And I just delighted in receiving them. They truly were gifts. And I found them utterly fascinating, every single one. What I learned from hearing people's stories is that they didn't see that themselves the same way. They actually minimized themselves. They thought their stories were boring. But all it took was some questions like, tell me about your story. I love people's stories. And why is that? Because we are completely unique. We're divine beings. And I want to help you see your life in grander terms. So there are two main ways that I'm going to highlight today that you're unique. One is your thumbprint, of course. Do you know that every thumbprint is different? It's like you're like a snowflake. There will never be another thumbprint like yours in the history of humanity. So the other way you're unique is your life story, which of course I'm highlighting today. I think it's kind of mind-blowing to think about this, but there will never be another story like yours in the whole history of humanity, ever. So you're completely unique. Why wouldn't you just delight in that fact? Delight in it. I'm inviting you to. It's kind of mind-blowing to me to think about that. I call your life story your soul print. So we have the thumbprint and we have the soul print. Everyday life experiences and relationships and memories create an imprint on your soul. Some are more impactful than others. In my case, and in many cases, it's the parent that has the greatest impact. So some life experiences also have this very big impact on your soul. But unlike our physical thumbprints, we can morph and change our soul prints. They don't have to stay the same. When we don't change them, it's almost like we end up being like automatons, living in a certain conditioned way. But you breathe new life into your story, then you can change your soul print. Your story can be either alive or it can be dead. And here's the thing, you have a choice. You have a choice whether you want to bring it alive or not. If you believe that your past is tucked away and, oh, that let's sweep that under the carpet, let's leave that in the past, then you're sadly mistaken, because it's still going to show up in your present life if it's not resolved and you haven't made sense of it. So it's really important work to be done for all of us, and it's ongoing. So for instance, the relationship with my father, I can continue to morph and change that and grow and expand in that and grow and expand in my appreciation, then my soul imprint can continue to morph and change as well. Past relationships, experiences, traumas all live in your body, in your tissue, and in your organs. So I'm going to get to now my Chinese system, my different view on your life story and your body. And so, of course, this is the invitation. Breathe new life into your story. Breathe new life. With an expanded awareness and connection to yourself, then you can live in freer, more inspired ways in your present life. So that's my great invitation. So this might be hard to believe, but your story actually lives in your organs. I know it's a little out there, but I'm not talking about the Western idea of organs. I'm talking more about Chinese medicine and my Chinese science. So different parts of your body and different organs live different aspects of your story. And my system employs many different models. For instance, your ancestral history lives in your kidneys. We're going to get to more of that later too. So my system employs many, many different models and templates and philosophies to explain the complex human being that you really are. But today I'm going to just be speaking to one model, which is the 5-element model. And here it is. And I just think this is totally cool. If you look at the word organization, do you see that organ is contained in that word? Who thinks that's cool? I think it's cool. But I tend to geek out on things that other people don't, so I can't assume that everybody also thinks that's cool. Put a yes in the chat if you think that's cool. No. Yeah, super cool, right? Yep. So the organs, and the reason it's called an organization, is because the organs are actually in relationship to one another. They're not independent. You know, in Western medicine, bless Western medicine, it has so many benefits. And Western medicine tends to focus on one at a time, and they don't relate to the others. But in reality, they're all in communication. They're all in a community. So this arrangement that you're looking at is a slightly different arrangement that you'll find in standard Chinese philosophy, where the spleen is in the center. In typical 5-element theory, it goes around in a circle. The spleen doesn't come down here. But you'll notice that there's an arrow pointing from one to another, so there's a flow happening from one organ to another. And this is called the parent-child organization of 5 elements, if you wanted to know. If you were to print this chart out, and I am going to provide a PDF, my assistant Adrienne, thank you Adrienne for being here with me and helping me. She is going to supply there it is, thank you Adrienne. If you want to print that out, then you can actually take this organization, hold it up to your body, and you'll see that this is not something outside of you to ponder. It's you. Now, you'll have to flip it around because the liver's on the right, but this is a representation of you. I think that's cool too. So, what's fascinating is that my system speaks about each organ having an energetic and spiritual quality. Each one has its own energetic and spiritual quality. So they have motifs and personalities. I know we don't think about our body and our organs in that way, but when you start to connect with that, and start to connect with the personality and the wisdom of each of these organs, then you start to get communication that is profound. It starts to be that your body is a mechanism to tap more into spirit, to live life in better ways. And the body is kind of the interface between the outside world and spirit. So you want to bring more of your body wisdom and awareness alive so that you can be more effective in your life and relationships. Okay, so I'm just going to give you one example of the communication that happens with your body. Your kidneys, if you have lower back pain, it could very well be your kidneys that are out of balance, but your kidneys are communicating to you. The pain is a signal and a communication from your kidneys. So that's just an example, and you can go on, and And this is the kind of work I do with my clients to help them identify the communication from their body, what organ's out of balance, what organ's communicating with them. So when I work with my clients, I take them through their life story, okay? And we divide it into segments. The kidney is associated with your ancestral history. So we want to kind of divide up your different histories. Your liver is associated with your family history. Your lung is associated with your social history. And your heart is associated with your spiritual journey. And so we will take different aspects of this and dive in to see what naturally arises and how your body's communicating to you, and to connect your past with your present. I use the frame of the organization to help you delve into your story. The story is everything. So my own journey was characterized by the liver. Now, why is that? Well, my father's alcoholism is associated with the liver. My primary focus on healing and transformation was associated with the family, and that's also associated with the liver. And I worked very diligently and focused on transforming my emotional reactivity within my family unit. That's also associated with the liver. The liver rules emotions. So there's all these characteristics and facets of the organs that we can bring alive, and you can start to make sense of your life in a brand new way. It's so exciting. Okay. I'm going to take you through a little meditation now. And this is intended to help you connect with make a deeper connection with your organs and appreciation of your organs. So I'm going to go back to the other chart and then you can look at it, but I want to have you close your eyes as we do this. So the 5-element flow chart, there are a lot of meditations and layers that make us up and show our complexity as human beings, but we're just going to focus on this one exercise today. Okay, so what I'd like you to do, I'm going to go back to the 5-element chart. I'd like you to close your eyes, please. And we're going to follow this flow here. So put your hands on your heart. And I'm going to actually give you some characteristics of each so that you can really start to feel the qualities of each of these organs. The heart, starting with the heart is a visionary. The element of the heart is fire. The emotional profile of your heart is joyful contentment to exuberance. And the color is red. I'll say that again so you can really feel your heart in a new way. Visionary, the visionary is the heart. The element is fire. The emotional profile is joyful contentment. And it goes to exuberance too. That's the imbalanced emotion. And the color is red. Now the heart is the mother of the spleen. So you're going to bring your hands to the center of your body now. We're going to connect with our spleen. The spleen is the matriarch. The element is earth. The emotional profile of the spleen is from calm concern, and the imbalanced emotion is anxiety, and the color is a soft yellow-brown. So again, the matriarch, the quality of the matriarch is the spleen quality is the matriarch. The element is earth. The emotional profile of the spleen is calm concern to anxiety, and the color is soft yellow-brown. And now we're going to go to the left side of our body. Now, anatomically, of course, the lungs are on both sides, but energetically, the lungs are on your left side. So bring your hands to your left side of your rib cage, and let's connect with our lungs. The lung is the leader. The element is metal. The emotional profile is from empathy to grief. and the color is white. Again, the leader, the lung is the leader. That's the kind of the personality of the lung. It's the leader. The element is metal. The emotional profile is empathy to grief. The color is white. And now we're going to bring our hands below our abdomen to the kidneys. The kidney is the warrior. The element is water. The emotional profile goes from caution to fear. And the color is dark blue. See if you can feel your kidneys through these different characteristics. Again, the kidney's the warrior. That's the personality of the kidney. The element is the water. The emotional profile goes from caution to fear, and the color is dark blue. And now you're going to move your hands up to the right side of your rib cage, and we're moving to liver. So kidney is the mother of liver. And the liver, the kidney is the healer. The liver is the healer. The element is wood, and that's the fresh spring wood, not the old oak tree. The emotional profile is from assertion to rage, and the color is green. Again, the liver is the healer. The element is wood. The emotional profile is from assertion to rage, and the color is green. And then we will bring our hands up to the top, to the heart again. And one more time, we're just going to go through the organs and we're going to give gratitude. We're going to give thanks to these organs that do so much for us, more than we realize. So from the heart, bring your hands to the center. Give thanks to your heart. Just give thanks and appreciation for our beautiful heart and all the beautiful work it does for us. And now bring your hands to the center, to your spleen. Thank your spleen for all the beautiful work it does for you. Bring your hands to the left, to the lung. Thank your lungs. And now below to the kidneys. Thank your kidneys. Give your kidneys appreciation. And then back up to the right, to the liver. Thank your liver for all the beautiful work it does for you. And back up to the heart. Okay, open your eyes. Now, I'm really interested in some impressions. What organ spoke the loudest to you, if any? Anybody had an experience of one of the organs jumping out, or maybe creating some emotional response? Lungs. Huh. Interesting. Why is that, Debbie? Heart. Frederick says heart. Anyone else have an impression? Lungs. Emotional. Yep. Lung. Yep. You know, lung is interesting. Heart. Mickey. Is that Mickey? Wonderful. I feel lungs are an unsung hero. Yeah. Well, lungs do a lot. Lungs are the social organ, so they interface with us, with the world. So they are doing a lot of work. We are interfacing with the world with our lungs. So I'm not going to say more about that. The heart opened, changed to rest when I focused my energy through it. Very cool. Mickey says liver. Okay, Mickey. Yeah. So, you know, at any given time, Donna says heart. At any given time, we can tune in to what our organs are saying to us. And the more we understand the complexion, the more we understand the organ, the more the channel opens up so we can listen to it. Lungs, Mandy, yeah. I know Mandy feels lungs because I know Mandy's health challenges. Did everybody like that exercise? Was that good? So I'm going to move on here. Oh, now I'm going to introduce one of my special guests today. And yes, it was an eye-opener. Cool. Yeah. I'm glad, Mel. I'm glad you enjoyed it. So I'm going to introduce Melanie now. Melanie has been on this journey with me for more than 2 decades. We've been learning the system together. I'm going to have her come off mute now. You have to unmute, Mel.
I did.
Oh,
Yay!
yay, Melanie. So,
I'm technologically challenged, but
yeah.
got the mute button down.
So Melanie's been on this journey with me for more than 2 decades, and I really wanted to bring her on because I wanted her to give her experience. Everybody experiences the system really differently because everybody's different and the system is you, so you would experience it differently. But her insights are quite different from mine. So I'm going to kind of pass it over to Melanie and she can talk about her experience.
Okay. Well, first, I want to say I was just intrigued by the idea of learning an elite martial arts and life system from the perspective of 2 women, a mother and daughter, who took a system that was only practiced by the very elite martial artists, males in China, and brought forth a feminine system out of the same system. So they took a feminine perspective of the entire life system and martial arts aspect of it. And I was also fascinated by the concept that our organs have their own intelligence and emotional profile. I never knew that. I only knew the biological function that they served. And whereas I knew that we all share masculine, feminine qualities, I didn't realize that there were certain postures and movements and ways of being that could cultivate these aspects of ourselves. And also that the system offered postures and movements that tapped into each individual organ. And in practicing these, I began to hear my organs speak to me and you begin to unlock memories, and there's space created for inspiration to come through. And it was quite magical. So I really became just mesmerized by this, by the system and how it was changing me. And as I learned to listen to and pay attention to my body and trust my body, I learned that my body never lies to me. My mind can lie, and I might create stories that make me feel better about myself or whatever, but my body does not lie. And as I learned to really pay attention and listen to my body, I learned to trust it. I gained my voice. And from this, I also gained a greater acceptance of myself. I learned to become an unbiased witness unto myself. And this gave me more freedom and love for myself and humanity.
Melanie,
From
can you mention, speak to the postures and the physical training a little bit? Because Melanie is
oh,
our chief mind
I
body.
I just loved the postures and physical training. In fact, I was using it on the airplane over because I have had just a tremendous amount of stress and life challenges the past couple of years. And it kind of all culminated just before I'm due to come on this journey with a completely locked up neck and upper body. And I couldn't move my head from side to side. I couldn't even open my mouth wide enough to put a fork in my mouth to chew food. It was so painful. And as I started to pay attention to myself, I realized I had been in my masculine posture, which really facilitates an acceptance of what is. And it's very healing, can be very useful. But I wanted to change what was happening to me. And so in the airplane seat, I opened up my physical feminine body and posture, and just sitting there began to go through my body and actually started to get a little bit relief and change and started to make connections between what was going on with me physically and what is going on in my life right now.
Wow,
And so
Melanie,
that's
thank you so
just
much. Thank you.
So, and I want to say it's been such an honor and privilege to be on this journey with Patricia.
And it really has been. It's been incredible. And you want partners in crime, right? So Melanie's perfect that way. She and I have done a lot of deep work together and have brought this system alive in ourselves in a way that you need somebody to help give you objective feedback. And Melanie's always been that person for me. So I really appreciate you. Thank you, Melanie. So I wanted you to, I'm glad Melanie came on, and I wanted to get you just a different perspective and a different experience of this beautiful system, because it's profound. And I really can only give you so much in an hour presentation, but I really would like to share more with you if you are interested in learning about this system, about your story, and getting a brand new perspective on your life. One of my roles is to uplift. Yes, I'm an uplifter. And to help people identify their creative initiatives and their creative potential and expand their view of themselves. But as a recipient of this precious system, I feel a sacred obligation to share the tools and information that I received over 30 years. A lot of people who know me, this has been a long time coming in terms of me finding my focus, and I finally landed on the story as the most important part of this journey, of the focus, to bring your story through and use the system to examine it and help you understand it more. So today, and only today, I have a VIP day, which is what I do with people usually in the beginning, where I take them on a 5-hour journey. We spend 5 hours together, and there's another hour follow-up. Today I'm going to offer that to you for 50% off, because I want to encourage you to take this journey with me. First, you'll receive a questionnaire of 50 questions that are segmented according to your organs. So your 5 organs each have that personality that I mentioned, and the questions are correlated to each of the organs. Then you'll receive a body wisdom analysis after I do the intake of those questions. And then we're going to identify your core relationship dynamic together. And then we're going to set you on a path of transforming that. Now, I am not wanting to fish for you. I am not someone who says, let me tell you what direction to take in your life. What I want to do is give you tools and information so you can do that for yourself. I feel like way more valuable. It was the same in my bodywork practice. I'm like, let me just give you some tools that you can use yourself to heal and transform. But I was lucky that I had a mentor who guided me through that. I needed that. I needed objective feedback. I needed someone to give me the tools so that I could bring them alive in myself and then run with them. So it's a very important part of the journey I take you on, is that I teach you to fish. And lastly, you're going to get a customized mind-body prescription based upon your core relationship dynamic. I'll teach you postures that correlate to the organ or the body part that you need, and we'll practice them together. Oh, thanks, Mel. Thank you. We have 2 Mels here. We have Melanie and Mel. They're both amazing women, by the way. Okay, so next slide here. Okay, this is probably my favorite one. Change and transformation is feminine. It cannot be forced, and it can only happen indirectly and in its own time. It is not a linear thing. You cannot follow a playbook for healing and transformation. You can't go, okay, I'm going to do this, and then this, and then this, and then expect a certain outcome. It's just not the way it works. But that's part of the mystery and magic of being on this planet, on this life journey. So my own healing journey didn't follow that, of course. It was natural. In fact, the patterns, certain patterns of insecurity, somebody mentioned insecurity, and just not feeling confident, somehow the reason I knew they transformed is I noticed they weren't there anymore. It wasn't like, okay, I'm going to work on being more confident. I tried that, let me tell you, because I'm a very strong will-based person. Will does not work in this regard. It can be your ally, but do not rely on it. It does not work. And there were so many times that I just wanted to be free of the patterns, and you can't jump there. You have to wait, and you have to put the right time and energy and the right attention. And then magically, I will tell you this, magically, all of a sudden, oh, I can breathe. Oh, I don't feel insecure when I'm talking to this person. In fact, it doesn't matter what they say anymore. Insights that the liver was the organ that was my predominant focus. I luckily had a guide who helped me see that, but that was kind of like I just had to keep re-engaging with the material over and over and over, and then the insights came and the transformation came. But that's really what I want to give you. Every person has the capability of doing this. You don't need to rely on someone your whole life, because you have all the tools, you have all you need inside of you right now for this journey. You just need someone to help you ignite them and to realize what you have. And the healing is all yours. No one can do that for you either. I think somebody, my mentor said, I can show you the door, but I can't bring you through it. So going through the door is equivalent to healing and transforming. And luckily, I was able to find the damn door, because it was not a good state to live in when I couldn't. Okay, so there are qualities that you need to do this journey, and you can't get around that either. And put them up here in this beautiful graphic that I designed, by the way. What do you think? Curiosity, number one. Curiosity is like, instead of going, that happened to me, you can say, wow, that happened to me. I wonder why that happened to me. I want to know more about my reaction to that. I want to know more about why that person dumped their emotional baggage on me. I want to understand that. Can you see how that could be really valuable? That you don't just react and come to a conclusion. Conclusions are our enemy. Do not come to conclusions. Curiosity keeps it alive. Okay, sincerity. You sincerely have to want to know the truth. I call people who are sincere truth seekers. They want to know the truth, and they'll keep digging until they realize it. And that's so much fun. It's so much fun to be on the path. A willingness, my forte. I never gave up. I had incredible willingness to do this work. I think I came into the world that way. Self-honesty. When you're told something that you don't like to hear, if you can learn to take it in as a gift rather than react to it and push back, self-honesty is the key quality here. Perseverance. Don't give up. You just keep going. Keep going. And don't look at your failures as a failure. Look at your failures as part of the process. So perseverance, just keep on the path, keep going. Faith. And when I talk about faith, I'm not talking about faith in God. You can have faith in God. I believe faith is about faith in yourself. And I will say again, it's the capital S self, which is your spirit. Faith that you, as a divine being, have this, that you have what you need right now. I mean, when I say faith, I'm like, my heart feels, it's expanding. Because faith is just like, it's that ingredient that makes life joyful, and it makes life beautiful. And then the last thing is that you need a framework, because most of our lives, we think it's a mishmash of things. It's a mishmash of emotions. It's a mishmash of memories. If you can segment it out and start to separate out different things, then it helps you to work different components of your story and to transform them. So I'm just curious, does anybody have any patterns that no longer work for them that they'd like to transform? Anyone? And if you say no, I don't have any, you're lying. I'm sorry. Everyone has them. If you're in this human body, the Dalai Lama, I'm going to tell you something. The Dalai Lama has them. If you're in this human body, you have them. You have them. And it's a matter of perspective and how you engage with them. Okay. I really need to bring on Catherine here. Catherine is someone I've been working with for the last 6 months, and I'm looking at the time going, oh no! Catherine's going to come on and speak to her experience, and I'm really excited to hear what she has to say. We started working, we've had a beautiful journey together so far. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here's Catherine from
All
Montreal.
right. So this is so interesting for me to be here after having had sessions with you, because now I'm like, yeah, that's what it's like. It's exactly like that. She's so right. This is how it works, or just goes. I don't know. And I'm wondering what it would have been like for me to be in this webinar before my sessions, because I remember actually when Patricia started introducing the system to me, I was like, what are you talking about? The liver is communicating with you? I thought it was crazy, but so crazy that I was very curious. And one day I just said, okay, Patricia, I've had asthma, which was triggered decades ago by a traumatic event in my life, um, for so long, and I've tried so many things. And even though they were like alternative methods, that I tried, my approach was very much going from A to B. I want this to be solved. I want this to go away, right? Very linear thinking, and actually thinking. And this has to do obviously with thinking, but not only with thinking. I think I did that way too much. So I was very curious, and I stayed open, and I booked a session or sessions with Patricia, and we started with a questionnaire, which in itself is already amazing, because it shows you, only the questions alone already showed me so much about what I was missing in my story or not looking at. And then we started, and I guess I just brought the curiosity and stayed open, because there were sessions where I felt like, okay, this sounds amazing, but I don't understand it, but it didn't matter. It wasn't like that I had to get this like in school. And sometimes, and we had so much fun doing this too, because Patricia said, are you following me? Do you understand? I'm like, no, but keep going. And I once said to her, it's like going through the jungle, and you know the way, I don't know, right? And isn't that the whole purpose? And then over the course of weeks, and it's actually still evolving, I had like dreams. It was really, it started in my sleep. It was really a different quality or level of dreams, where I thought, where's that coming from? And everything kind of, it happened to me. I think Melanie said it too, when it happened to me. You didn't make it happen, and I think that was my misunderstanding, that I had to force it and do something about it, because there's also a very active part in me who just says, okay, we're going to get this done. And now I'm just observing what's happening around me, and I think what actually is the greatest gift, actually. I think it connected me. I think through this event in my past, I first of all just said to the world, okay, this happened to me, and that's why I'm the way it is, the way I am. So deal with me, world, right? A little bit like that, or a lot. And then for a long time, it was just like, okay, that's just with me. I'm carrying it. And when I asked Patricia to work on this with me or look at it, it felt a bit like, okay, I don't really understand why I'm still carrying this asthma around. But it was still like, I want to get rid of it. And now there is actually communication, and it's even the wrong word. I'd say it's connection. It's me being connected to my asthma and seeing actually what it is trying to tell me. And I realized this in dreams. I realized this when I'm in nature on walks. I'm like, wow, I'm actually part of all of this. It's a very different idea, and of who or what I am in here and connected to everything, which is obviously very healing.
And Catherine is, by the way, has all those qualities that I mentioned. She has those qualities, and she's willing to really dive in and see things in a new way. I thought it was amazing to make that connection with you about that past trauma and how it actually was a divine act that made you into who you are today. Catherine's a death doula, and she teaches other death doulas. So
Yes.
that experience, you found the connection between that service and that traumatic event too. I thought that was just profoundly beautiful. So thank you.
But I was still kind of walking around with the limitation of not being able to breathe properly, except with spray. And I have a mild version of it, and sometimes it's better. But it was like there was some perfectionism, I guess, in me. It's like, go away. And now I'm like, it's speaking to me and it is unbelievable. So I wouldn't say I don't want it to go away, but it's like it finally has its space.
That's
I think
wonderful.
that was the main point where, where I just totally approached it in a wrong way, or not serving me. And now I find this art of, or kind of art, kind of communication everywhere, like in day to day things, where I'm like really blown away, actually. And also, I've realized that I'm starting to remember different aspects of that story or that event in the past where I thought, wow, I thought I didn't know that I had forgotten about it. And it just invited me to look at that tiny little part to make it, to make it move. It's actually moving in me.
That's so beautiful, Catherine. Thank you so much for
yeah.
sharing that, because it's very difficult. It's way better to have somebody talk about their experience than for me to stand here and motivate you and talk about what this system does and what I offer. So thank you so much. You guys,
Well, thank you for walking through the jungle with me.
I love walking through the jungle with you. It's so much fun. I am actually, can we go over a little bit? Is everybody okay to go over maybe 5 minutes? Is that okay? Because I'm realizing I'm running out of time here. Yes? Okay, wonderful. I have a couple more things I wanted to share with you in terms of the what happens if you don't work your story and what happens when you, the beauty that happens when you do. So, okay, I'm going to just cycle through this and then we're going to wrap up in probably 5 minutes after, okay? So how do old stories, negative relationships, and experiences, how do they affect you if you don't resolve them? Well, you get locked into a negative view on life. That is a horrible state to live. No one has to live there. 2, you tend to be a victim. And that is the most disempowering way to live, is as a victim. Do you know victimization is the biggest disempowerment? And what that speaks to is that we don't have any power to change our lives. It's total BS. I'm sorry. No, don't live as a victim. And a lot of people use victimization as a form of power, but don't go there. Okay. It traps your creative energy. So when you are living a wound or a victim place, then you are kind of short-circuiting your own creative energy to come out into the world. You want to expand that creative energy. That's our divine inspiration. When you're creative, that means you're tapped into your spirit. Do you know that? I mean, we think of creativity. I don't even think we really think of creativity. Where does it come from? It comes from our spirit. And when you have creativity, it's an individual expression of your spirit. So negative past lives in our body as patterns, mostly unconscious, and it affects our health. So if we have health issues, sometimes that's rooted in a past relationship or a dynamic that's present in our life where we're not actually able to transform in our consciousness, because the organs are conscious, right? An emotional, it shows up as emotional imbalance in the form of emotional, like anxiety, fear, anger. So you can maybe identify an emotion that that tends to capture you a little bit more, and we can start there. That can be your core relationship dynamic, by the way. Patterns create imprints on our souls, as I've mentioned, and you can think of it like software programs. So we have all these software programs mostly operating in the background, but the great thing about software is we can actually introduce new software and we can change the software programs, and then we change the soul imprint, and then we can change the patterns. Okay, and now, what are the benefits of expanding your story? Okay, so what I really want you to have is this, and I hope you do at the end of this, a newfound appreciation for your life journey and your story. I hope I've given you at least that much, that you like, damn, my life is really awesome, and I could discover all kinds of really wonderful things about it. A sense of expansion. I think that was the thing that I gained more than anything, was this expanded relationship with myself, this feeling like, oh, anything's possible. Anything's possible. I love living in that state of anything is possible. Inner peace and contentment. So I'm not roiled so much by the outside world. In fact, I really don't pay that much attention anymore to news because I feel like I can't change it. I only allow things in that actually help me on this path. your relationships improve. So if you have some toxic relationships and you have relationships that are difficult, that get you to react a lot, when you start to expand yourself, you start to make sense of your story, then your relationships improve around you. It's a byproduct of it. More joy, clarity, and overall well-being. Who doesn't want that? And an expanded perspective and a vision about your true nature as beautiful divine beings that you are. That's the program. I can't thank you enough for coming today. This was sort of my coming out party after my 30-year journey. And I am so excited to have shared this with you today, that I felt very inspired having you be part of this. And there are a lot of familiar faces and some new ones, but thank you so much for coming. I wanted to just extend my heartfelt thanks and recognition of you all as beautiful, beautiful beings. Please, please, please know that. Please know how special you are. Do not doubt that. And that's something I can give you in spades because I really believe it. Thank you so much. Thank you, Denise. Thank you, Gavin, Deborah, Mel, Adrian, my assistant. Thank you, Frederick. I'm glad that you felt special because you are. And Catherine, thank you for sharing. Melanie, thank you. Nina, thank you. I really appreciated all of you coming today. Thank you so much. Have Adrian drop in the link, a payment link so that you can sign up today. And the normal price for this is $997, but I wanted, because you chose to show up today, I wanted to offer this to you today for $447. So it's a pretty good deal actually, because it's 5-6 hours of my time and you get these precious tools in your possession and you can start to bring them alive in yourself. And if I wanted to offer some extra bonuses for you to give you incentive, Melanie and I have recorded a lot of the postures, the open and closed body, the feminine and masculine postures, and we're going to give that to you as part of signing up today as bonuses, as well as an audio instruction, a very beautiful 10-minute self-healing meditation. And some of my clients have experienced this. Debbie, I think you have, and have appreciated it, where you lie down and you actually are connecting with yourself in a really beautiful way. It just takes 10 minutes to run through the whole thing, but you could do it over and over. I do it every morning when I wake up. It's just profoundly beautiful. And my mentor actually put this together.